Hi, welcome to Theme Honey Lessons. Today I want to show you some settings on the back end of your website and give you some recommendations for how they should be configured. The first thing that we need to do, and you should do this as soon as you set up your new website, is go to Settings and Permalinks. Permalinks are how your URL will appear, and without going into too much technical detail, unless you have a very good reason for another setting, I recommend that you almost always choose post name. Once you've chosen this, if it's on any other setting, choose post name, come down and click Save Changes, and this will write those changes to your server. The next setting I want to show you is under Settings and then Reading. And it's search engine visibility. Discourage search engines from indexing this site. It is up to search engines to honor this request. Until you are ready to have your website indexed by Google, I recommend that you check this box, change the settings, and then when you come back to your dashboard, you'll see here that there's a notice saying search engines are discouraged. And while it is up to search engines to honor that request, I have never seen a situation where this was set and a search engine did crawl the site. Anytime I'm working on a site that's in development, I always discourage search engines from searching the site until I have actually launched and I'm ready for the world to see my pages in Google search results. That is just my recommendation. Let's go back to settings and media. You want to make sure that this is not appearing on the back end. If for any reason this appears, highlight the text, delete it, and save changes. Organize my uploads into month and year based folders. I highly recommend that you leave this checked. This is a very good way for your server to organize the images that you add to your media library. By default, WordPress, every time you upload an image, WordPress will crop the image to be a thumbnail size, a medium size, and a large size. Again, unless you have a good reason for changing these settings, and oftentimes people do, if you can't think of a reason or you haven't been directed to, I recommend that you leave these settings as they are, as you found them. Next, we can go to discussion. And by default, there are lots of options here for how you want to handle the commenting settings. I urge you to read through each of these options and make a determination about why something should or should not be enabled. I think these things are fairly self-explanatory, and as you write blog posts and get comments on your blog, you will adjust these settings accordingly. Let's go back to reading. And this is the option. A lot of times people ask me, how can I get a certain number of blog posts per page? This is the place where you make that determination. So if you're only seeing 6 blog posts on a page and you would like to see 12 on a page, you can make that change here. Syndication feeds show the most recent 10 items, and a syndication feed is really an RSS feed is what they're talking about. For each article in an RSS feed, show the full text or the summary. I recommend that you show the summary and not the full text. And I'll go ahead and click Save Changes. And finally, let's go to General. This is where you can change the title of your site, and this is also the title up here. So if I take it out, now we see the URL, and I'll just go ahead and type it in again, we can see it change in real time. And then we have a tagline. I do not recommend that you change the WordPress URL or the site address URL. The admin email address, this is the email address that you will be notified at for any administrative purposes. Membership, anyone can register unless you specifically have a membership site. I recommend that you leave this unchecked. New user default rule is subscriber. Time zone, I'm in Central Time Zone, so I'm going to choose Chicago because I know that's the city nearest. This is the date format. I can choose a date format. My time format. Our week starts on Sunday, and I'm going to change save changes. And finally, let's go to users, and I'm going to click on edit my profile. This is something that I always do when I set up a new site. When you're logged into a site, WordPress adds this black toolbar, and I really don't like this toolbar at all. So under my profile, there's a setting that says toolbar, show toolbar when viewing site. I uncheck this box. I update my profile. I come back and refresh, and now that toolbar is gone. So generally, I keep the administrative area in one tab, and I keep the front end of my site in another, and that works well for me. These are just some options and my recommendations. If you have any questions, you're free to email me, Angela@themehoney.com.